we doing, ladies and gentlemen? This feels like it could be a rather significant show. I might be wrong, but I'll tell you what, things are definitely happening. I'm here to talk about the 9-2 UK Holdings Foundation being officially incorporated in the UK. Feels like quite a significant step. Is it proof that the Qatari bid is going to win? No, we are not saying that it is done. But we are here to run through the news, and I'm going to do this live as it's going on. I'm going to try and bring it up all on screen. We're going to run through the incorporation. We're going to run through the absolute rocketing share price, which I actually think shares that I think they're now trading, that they've stopped trading on shares. They're a bit of a pause. In fact, I think right now, here we go. Let's just ignore all of this. All right. This has just come out on Reuters, I believe, as we are talking. They are saying that Manchester United have entered exclusivity with Sheikh Jassim. Okay, this is literally in the last 30 seconds right now has come up on my screen. I'm going to be reading through this with you. I'm going to be taking a look, as I said, about the incorporation. I've already told you there, the stocks of this feels like the big one. This is coming from Reuters, okay? Let me make sure that what I'm reading is true and correct. 1 second here. Right, let's go. Let's talk through this, all right? Let me read the article. Reuters are saying that Manchester United have entered a period of exclusivity with Sheikh Jassim. We've been waiting for clarity. Rio Ferdinand, I want whatever sauce you're having on your burger. My word, that guy's got them. Let's run through this, okay? This is going to be a big show, ladies and gents. It's going to be busy in here. There's a super chat there that I've missed. Let me say it as Z3 Music is saying New York Stock Exchange just halted trading on stocks. Yep, they did. Let's go. Let's read through this, all right? English Football Club Manchester United is negotiating granting exclusivity to the consortium led by Qatar's Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani in talks to set itself for more than $6 billion. People familiar with the matter said on Thursday. Members of the Glazer family, which own minority stakes in Manchester United and control it thanks to a dual-class share structure, would be cashing out. The Glazers would be cashing out as part of the proposed deal. The Qatari offer is currently viewed by the Glazers more favorably than a bid from Jim Ratcliffe. We already know that. Manchester United would not be allowed to negotiate with any bidder other than Sheikh Jassim for the exclusivity period. All right. It could not be learned how long this period may last. The sources cautioned that the situation remained fluid and a new bid from Ratcliffe could prevent Sheikh Jassim from securing exclusivity. The sources requested anonymity because the matter is confidential. Representatives from Manchester United and Sheikh Jassim did not immediately respond to requests for comment. So what they are saying is that the exclusivity itself hasn't been granted, but it's heading that way. I'm not sure if I've read that the same as you've read that, but this is a big moment. This, as I said, this is coming from Reuters. This is coming from, well, the markets themselves. I believe if we go over here and we take a look at Manchester United shares, let's have a look. Are they now trading again? You can see the spike that happened here. We saw the spike the other day. We've seen the spike again today. Vertical spike. Someone sent a super chat there. Who's that from? Red Smurf, how you doing? Oh my God, 100 gifted memberships incoming the moment it's made official, man. I'm gifting everything to everybody. We're getting champagne popping on here. This feels like it's it. This feels like the moment I think we've all been anticipating. We didn't know whether it would be Sheikh Jassim or whether it would be Jim Ratcliffe, but Reuters here, as I said, this is very much unfolding whilst we are live together. All right. So let me see what else is being said. But I'm pretty sure this means that the Qataris have got exclusivity. I need to read through this. As I said, I'm doing this at the same time as you are, with about 15 tabs. I'm trying my best, and I apologize if I'm messing up a little bit. But this is a really significant moment. I don't want to get this wrong. Okay, let's go through this again one more time. English football club Manchester United is negotiating granting exclusivity. So what they're saying is that it's not currently a period of exclusivity, but they are negotiating granting that exclusivity. So does that mean it's a step towards the exclusivity from where we were before? I think it's still kind of half on the fence there, but I tell you what, things are absolutely flying in here. Absolutely flying. It's cool to see so many people tuning in, so many people joining in. It's because it's such a wonderful moment. The idea that the Glazers are going to be gone. That in itself, now, as I said, we can get into the conversations around the Qatari bid and the Sheikh Jassim and the Jim Ratcliffe bid, but just the concept of the Glazers going, oh man, look at that. This community, man. We've all been here through the rough and the smooth. It's been a rough few years, but look at that. JDM, Tom, and Rotham, you just gifted 25 memberships between you. All of you absolute heroes. Let's whip the gong out. If you don't know what that gong is, you need to stick around and you'll find out what it is. Let me see what you're saying in the comments. Please get on with it. Get these pricks out, says Kevin. Well, don't sit on the fence or anything, Kevin. JJ Stevens, you're saying I'm excited. Good riddance, says Ian. But yeah, let me go through the other news that was happening. I didn't come here for that news from Reuters. It's just that the Reuters news broke at the start of the show. I came here to discuss this. I came here to discuss the fact that the 92 UK Holdings Limited is now officially a registered business in the UK. Okay. This is the official incorporation letter from Companies House. You can go on Companies House and you can type in 90. You can find it yourself. I'll give you the link. It's on my Twitter account if you want to go on there already. You can go down here and you can see that this was today, right? Today is when that happened. Now, if you go and see what Ben Jacobs is saying, he's saying, look, hold on here, ladies and gents. This process started months ago. It's just that it's happened now. And if you look at what Mike Keegan is saying, he's kind of saying the same thing. So it's not an indicator of a decision. It's just a standard document. However, and I know it's not the same. I want to say that I know it's not the same. It didn't take me 4 months to register my company. I don't know whether that's a fair comparison or not, but it certainly didn't take me months. And it feels very coincidental. And I don't particularly believe in coincidence. Sometimes there's coincidence. Sometimes there is. But most of the time, there's no smoke without fire. But regardless of that, I don't think that's as big a bit. Or maybe that is as big a bit of news. But Reuters coming out with that. This is developing right now. I'm glad that I went live. I didn't know whether I was going to go live, but yeah, I have. And I'm really glad I did. Let me see what else you're saying in the comments. There's a couple of super chats. I don't want to miss any of these. JDM, you're saying this news is blowing up. The beIN Sports channel is blowing up everywhere. It's the United takeover will be this. Name me a bigger sports story. Messi winning the World Cup. Yeah. Manchester United takeover is going to be one of these seismic moments. And certainly in art-wise, it is the biggest moment in our modern history as a football club. And it's one of these most significant moments in the whole history of our football club. Trady is saying that, thank you very much for your consistency, mate. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Always. I try my best. I'm not always perfect. I know that. Zoateng, what are you saying? I won't forget what the Glazers have done to my club, but I thank them for sending us to a Qatar. They did good to us on the way out. Hold on here. We must be fair. Mate, the Glazers are doing whatever. The Glazers would sell to the devil if they got an extra $1. You think I'm going to be like, cheers, lads. Go on, Avram and Joel. I'll forget it. No, I'd be like, I'll boot them out the door. I'm not going to give them any sort of, oh, yeah, thanks, lads. Piss off. Come on, people. Well, you're not going to get that from me anyway. Here we go. Oh, wow. Look at that. Shares. So this is from, let's pull up some comments here from Faisal Islam, who of course is the BBC economics editor. Let me see what he's saying here about the shares, because you can see, as I said, that the shares absolutely flew up. Let's go back over here, and it's always quite an indicator as to what's going on. This website's terrible. absolutely flew up. And you can see from Faisal Islam that the shares were actually halted for a little bit because they shot up so much. They've now reopened and corrected themselves a little bit, but it's another vertical spike. It's another leap from where they were. Remember, it was just shy of $20, I think, just under 48 hours ago. Rio Ferdinand, man, give me your sources. Share the love. Rio Ferdinand earlier, I did a video covering that. Rio Ferdinand saying the takeover was imminent. And then this has happened within the space of 2 hours. Fair play, Rio, man. Fair play. Because it was a risky game. It was a risky game. Given that he's trying to build a career as a pundit and a correspondent and a broadcaster, to have been wrong on that would have been a big... But, hey, look, maybe he is still wrong, but I'll tell you what, the way that it's looking, that there's a big, big one. We didn't know whether there was going to be a period of exclusivity, did we? Because this point here, registering and incorporating a business in the UK, you're far down the process there. That is not a step that you take at the start. That is a step you take when you are right towards the end. Now, INEOS obviously wouldn't have to do that because it would all be going through INEOS. So it's not the same sort of thing. But this is a real indication of confidence from the Qataris. And as I said, at the same time as Reuters coming out with that, let's read this one more time, okay? And I'm going to go down and read a few of your comments out. There's a super chat there from Timothy saying, from Kingston, Jamaica. Big up to you, man. Thank you very much for tuning in. And everybody, if you can just take 1 second now, I never asked this early enough. Please drop a like on the video. It does make such a huge difference. There's a lot of work that goes into it. And I can't wait to see what comes next. But according to Reuters, Sheikh Jassim is going to be entering that period of exclusivity. And let's read this article one more time so we can properly just understand what's being said. English football club Manchester United is negotiating granting exclusivity to the consortium led by Sheikh Jassim. Members of the Glazer family would be cashing out as part of the proposed deal. Can we just take a second to just think about that in isolation? Now, I know there will be people that say, no, you can't isolate the fact that you're going towards a Qatari takeover from the fact that the Glazers are leaving. But just that in itself, in a week's time, in a month's time, who knows when the actual official stamp will be on the document? It looks like the Glazers could really, genuinely be leaving and have nothing more to do with Manchester United. Ever again. No arguments about dividends. No arguments about lack of ambition of the owners. No arguments about getting involved in day-to-day decisions and delaying everything. Just gone. Poof. Vamos. Nothing but a bad memory. That in itself is going to be one of the biggest celebrations that you would have seen from United fans. And deservedly so. And then we get into the conversations around a Qatari bid, around questions that we should and could and should be asking as a fan base, just like we would with any Jim Ratcliffe bid. And I will continue to scrutinise. But just that in itself would be a reason to crack open some serious bottles of champagne. The Qatari offer is currently viewed by the Glazers more favourably than the INEOS bid. And isn't it weird how that's changed? Like the last couple of weeks, it's been INEOS. And then the fourth bid, and the fifth bid from Jassim came in, and it swung towards Jassim, and then it's kind of gone to and fro. And now it seems this is the first conversation and talking point we've had about any period of exclusivity. We were told by Matt Lawton and Mike Keegan that this was the week. This was the week. And my initial reaction to that on Monday was, I'll believe that when I see it. It looks like I'm seeing it. Dan Yeo, you're down there saying, here we go in the comments. It's not here we go. All right. There's no official statement from Manchester United. This is still just news. However, this is major news. That in my opinion, anyway. Let me see what's going on down here. What the reaction is. I think there's a couple of super chats. Let me not miss these. I hate missing any super chats. Ownership aside, would you take Gabby and McCoke? Carl, we're talking about the takeover of Manchester United, mate. Keith, you're saying report that Qatar got exclusivity. Yep. Ray, what you're saying? I think Jassim is into injury time. It's quite an update. I suppose it would be interesting to effectively what the position of it here allows Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe one more go, one more attack. Would you expect anything to come from this point? Because momentum is, as I said, if momentum was completely behind Ineos for the last few weeks, the pendulum has swung. And the momentum now is behind Sheikh Jassim in the Qatari bid. Would you anticipate that Jim Ratcliffe, at that point, when it was swinging towards Ineos, the Qataris and Sheikh Jassim came in with a bigger bid? What would you anticipate on the reaction being from Jim Ratcliffe to this? I mean, I suppose they already knew it behind the scenes, but what do you expect them to come in with a bigger bid? Let me know what you think in the comments. Pathy, you're saying, I'm inevitable, SJ, Sheikh Jassim, I'm the new owner. Okay. Okay. Siam, you seem happy. Nathan, how you doing, buddy, man? Hey, look, you're a legend, man. Chris, what are you saying? Thank you very much, Super Chat. Did you say not so long ago it only seemed a dream that the Glazers would sell and lead this club? Now it seems to be nearing every day to becoming a reality. Yeah, it's something that I don't know, I've been so entrenched in covering all the news and being as balanced as possible, which is what I should be as a fan. I should be looking at everything. I should be taking everything into account. I haven't really given too much time and thought process to the idea that the Glazers might be gone, which is something that we've wanted for right there. Years and years we've had to argue against it. Premier League's now made effectively anti-Glazer ownership rules. Yeah, cheers, lads. 18 years late with that. Spencer saying, it would appear that the Qataris let SJR do all the lead work and lead the way to drop in a bid. I mean, you can look at the ins and outs of the process now. I don't particularly think either side will be happy with how this whole process has gone. Let's be honest. Look, the Glazers went behind everyone's back and spoke to Nasser Al-Khelaifi to try and get a bigger bid from Sheikh Jassim. It's weird. Apparently, I missed super chat from you, Jordan. Let me read that up there. Get Barry on the phone for the party bus. Barry, I need to someone get me Barry's number. Who's going to get Barry's number? No one's going to get Barry's number. But I do need to get him on the bus. Dan saying, surprise Sky Sports News haven't broken it yet. Are you really? Are you really? Mate, Sky Sports News, back in the day, they were good. Right. Let's go. Simon Stone from the BBC. Right. As I said, this is a developing story. And I think the important part of that Reuters article, if I can go back to it here, it was saying that Manchester United were negotiating granting exclusivity. They're not writing the Qatari bid has entered a period of exclusivity with Manchester United. They're saying they're negotiating it. And Simon Stone from the BBC is saying this. He's saying no exclusivity granted. Talks continue on both sides. So he's pouring some cold water on it. I suppose, I don't know. Man, I can't wait until this is done. I really can't. Really, really can't. Yeah, so Simon Stone is saying that, no, there's still not a period of exclusivity. Both sides are still in conversations with Manchester United. All right. But it's that huge development today. There's been like 3, I suppose, big developments today. We can go over here to the first one earlier, right? To Rio Ferdinand putting his, putting it out there, being first to do it, which is a risky move. Trusted his sources, and everything has happened since then. Then you had the news of 9-2 Holdings being incorporated in the UK, another big one. That caused a massive surge in the price of Manchester United. Look at that vertical spike there. You can't see it now because that's blocking it. Brilliant. Get off. Go away. Thank you. Jeez, this website really is quite annoying. You can see the vertical spike there. So much so that shares actually got halted. Ben Jacobs saying, hold on, the incorporation isn't necessarily a thing that has happened just today. And then you got Mike Keegan saying the same thing. I'll tell you what, we might have to get Ben on for another chat. Von down there saying it's stop manipulation in plain sight. And I tell you what, I've definitely been thinking that. I've definitely been thinking that as well. I think we all have. There is some serious bucks to be made on Manchester United and playing these markets in the way that they're being played. Like the vertical spikes have been crazy. That spike that happened after the other day, off the back of basically one tweet. I couldn't believe it happened off the back of one tweet. That spike's happened today, and then Reuters now have come out saying that Manchester United are negotiating that exclusivity. So that means that the Rain Group are negotiating a period of exclusivity with the Qataris. That's what Reuters are saying. Okay. And that's the most significant bit of news and development. Not news, development. That's the most significant development that we've had. Start of the week from Lawton and Keegan. This is going to be the week where we find out. Here we are on Thursday at 4 p.m. The suggestions are that period of exclusivity is going to go to the Qataris. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to read your comments out for a couple of minutes. Make sure you drop a like on the video. What are you thinking? What are you saying? Let me know in the comments below. The stock is flying, says Moiko. Yep, absolutely. It is. Maybe finished by the start of the season, says Matthew. I don't know. I hope so. Jeez. It was supposed to end, but it was supposed to end at the end of March, wasn't it? End of Q1 was the initial aim, and none of us believed that. JDM, how you doing, buddy? You're saying, does this mean we are getting Mbappe? I've already done a video on that. All right. Prepare yourselves for the inevitable circus, especially now we're out of the move for Harry Kane because we can't afford him. So we can't afford Harry Kane. We're going to go after Mbappe. Okie dokie. Matty Simpson saying, how reliable are Reuters? Reuters, this is coming from the business side. And what I would say is when we follow Manchester United, of course, the journalists that we all follow are sports journalists. Your David Ornsteins, Fabrizio Romano, Simon Stone, etc. They're all sports journalists. Business journalists have pretty much throughout this whole process, if I was to go back and sort of put pins in when things happened, it's mainly been coming from the business journalists because it's a multi-billion-pound company being sold. So they've been leading with the news. So I think it's quite interesting. This has come from Reuters first and foremost. And when it comes to business side of things, yeah, they are very respectable in that area. That's what I would say. What else are you saying in the comments down here? Look, we've got that from Reuters, and you've got on the opposite side of things, you've got Simon Stone saying there's no actual exclusivity granted, but that's not what the Reuters are. That's not what Reuters are saying. All right. Reuters are not saying that an exclusivity period has been granted. They're saying those talks are now happening. Man United directly, so that will be the Rain Group. Anywhere you see Manchester United is negotiating, that's the Rain Group on behalf of the Glazers, on behalf of the club. They're negotiating directly with the Qatari Sheikh Jassim group for that period of exclusivity. And if you go down here, there, Manchester United would not be allowed to negotiate with any other bidder other than Sheikh Jassim for that exclusivity period. So once it enters that, then it's just Jim Ratcliffe has to sit there and watch and can't do anything. The sources cautioned that the situation remained fluid. Let's go full screen here. You don't need my mug on it. And a new bid from Ratcliffe could prevent, there's no way. I'm going to go back to that. I apologize. I didn't see many of your comments before. Do you think there's any chance of that? Do you think there's any chance of, at this point, Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos coming back in with another bid? It feels unlikely. I can't rule it out, but it kind of feels unlikely at this point. Whereas with the Sheikh Jassim bid, it always felt like there could be another bid that comes on top, another bid that comes on top. Going down here in the comments, Brian, you're saying no. Daniel, you're saying hope not. FP, you're saying you think it's too late. Mark, you're saying you don't think so. I don't personally think that you would see an extra bid. Well, I don't think you can rule it out, but it would kind of surprise me at this late stage. Sources requested anonymity because the matter is confidential. Representatives from Manchester United and Sheikh Jassim did not immediately respond to requests for comments. The end game. This feels like the end game. Properly, this feels like the end game. Start of last week, we were hopeful, but still skeptical that anything could happen. Start of this week, we were hopeful, but probably even more skeptical that anything could happen. And today is the day where there's been a little bit of a switch and a little bit of a flip. And there's actually some developments. There's actually some significant developments. Siam, how you doing, buddy? Saying, what do you think of chance the Spurs doing a turnaround offering Kane when Sheikh Jassim officially takes over? I don't think it's really down to Spurs anymore. I think it's down to Manchester United. We've now gone, never mind, see you later. We're looking elsewhere. Our focus is elsewhere. So if the Kane situation changes, it will be Spurs knocking on the door of Manchester United rather than the other way around. Comment there from how long will it take the exclusivity period? There's no confirmation on that inside this yet. They're basically saying that the conversations are going on. And if you've seen all the interviews that I've had with Ben Jacobs, he's kind of made it clear that there might be that exclusivity period A is not needed or B is extremely short. Because look, that's Rio Ferdinand. The business is incorporated. That's not the step that you take when you are early in negotiations. All right. That's not the step you take when it's that's the step you take when you're getting towards the end game. Because if that was to come out in public and then Jim Ratcliffe was to win, that would not reflect very well on the Qatari bid at all. It really, really wouldn't. So for me, that's quite a significant development. Man, Buddy, how you doing down there? Buddy, you've gifted 5 memberships. Tell you what, man, I'm going to give 10. I'm going to give 10 memberships as well. All of you show so much support for the channel. I'm going to show support for you as a community. Big up to all of you. 10 lucky people going to get a special one for United People's TV. Make sure that's gone through. Look at that multitasking, reading incorporation sheets, gifting 10 memberships. Everybody drop a like on the video if you can as well. That makes a big, big difference. But let me see what else is being said. There's unlikely to be a conclusion. Let's see it right. Here's what Ben has said. Right. Right. Let's bring a couple of updates here from Ben. All right. I'm going to have to get him on again, aren't I? Going to have to get Ben on. Ben may as well just join the channel permanently, really. The amount of times he's been on here. the amount of time I need to take Ben out for dinner. Say thanks. Right, here we go. This is what Ben's saying. He's saying firm denials from those close to, let's go full screen so you don't need me. Firm denials from those close to the Manchester United sale that any group will be granted exclusivity despite reports 9-2 Foundation are negotiating for it. As exclusively revealed last week, neither 9-2 Foundation or Ineos are expected to be given exclusivity. Also understand that there is unlikely to be a conclusion of the sale process. Well, Ben, what are you doing, man? I'm not inviting. No, I'm joking. I think Ben has been very, very good throughout this entire process. I chose wisely in choosing Ben to come on the channel originally, and he's been pretty consistent the entire way through. He's staying pretty firm that there won't be a period of exclusivity. Reuters is reporting on the contrary. But whatever the conclusion is, I think it'll be relatively quick. Okay, that's what I would say. Once this door opens, the legwork is done. The legwork is absolutely done. Cornish, you're saying Ben is always very cautious. And yeah, I completely understand exactly why Ben has been cautious throughout this process. We've experienced here as a community going through the news exactly like, well, that's not what was said, but that's complete opposite to what was said yesterday. The swings have been really mad throughout this whole process. So I understand why Ben has been very cautious, but he has been very consistent throughout this whole process. A few new members there. We've got Said Ali. We've got Ashlyn Thomas. We've got Thatcher Krob. How you doing, everyone? Welcome aboard. And to the 10 people who got a membership from me, welcome aboard as well. DP, you're saying straight to sale. That's what I mean. I can almost get the feeling that you could just skip straight to that. You're getting into the nitty-gritties, not the nitty-gritties, but the legal side of these things with the incorporation of the company. Let's see what the shares are saying now. They did shoot up. They've gone down now. They calmed down a little bit after an initial like massive peak. Rio needs a medal, says Bully. I tell you what, man, like Rio, whatever sources you've got, Bring them onto the channel. Right, bring them onto the channel. Right, what else is being said? My God. This is mad, isn't it? Being a Man United fan. Wouldn't change it for the world. But I just want to talk about football. I just want to talk about my team playing, my manager, and the players I think we should be signing. No offense to takeovers. I just want to talk about the football. Is it that difficult? Well, apparently it is that difficult when you're Manchester United. That's for sure. Andy, how you doing, buddy? Thank you very much for the super chat. You're saying once the Glazers hand over the keys, there'll be a bigger bus tour than City's treble. I know there's a little bit of sarcasm, a little bit of a joke there. I genuinely don't know what to expect. Because there will be a party when the Glazers leave. I've got to get Barry on that bus. If I don't get Barry on that bus, I've really not followed through on it, have I? Deary me. Right, what were you all saying down here? Yeah. I'm going to go back to this because I'll be honest, Ben has been very, very consistent throughout this whole process, and I think Ben deserves our trust as a community. He's pouring a little bit of cold water on what Reuters are reporting, and maybe this is just more smoke and mirrors. Maybe this is just more one person is saying one thing, one person is saying another thing. I don't know, but today feels like a big day. As I said, you got Rio coming out with that to get it started. You got the company being incorporated. You got Reuters saying that. All the noise you can see is towards the Qatari bid and the Sheikh Jassim bid. You can make of that what you will. Ferocious, you're saying that Reuters knows more than Jacobs. Okay, that's fair enough. You can feel that, and you're probably right. Okay, but I can't guarantee that. I think Ben's been very good throughout this whole process, and I know that he's kind of sat on the fence, but you have to. But let's see what goes on next. Man, I'm sweating. It's hot in here. It's almost like there's a takeover going on. Avik, you're joining there as a member. Look, I'll wrap it up now, okay? Although I could stay on here all afternoon and talk to you. Such good. I love the community, man. In fact, I'll tell you what, I'll stay for the last couple of minutes. I'll read some of your comments out. Danny, you're saying Rio wouldn't put that message out if he wasn't sure of its validity. Yeah, he trusts his sources. Obviously, I compared it to, I think, I slightly compared it to the Ronaldo situation. It's a little bit different because, you know, him and Ronaldo were boys. So he might have just asked him directly. So it might have been a bit easier. But Rio went earlier today, and look what's happened since. Kieran is saying, can somebody tell me what this company means? Yeah, I can tell you that. Simple terms, the Qatari bid is being funneled through the 9-2 Foundation. That's the business that was created by the Qatari bid. And that's where Sheikh Jassim is going to be the director of. And then Manchester United would come under that. That would be like the top of the umbrella, if you want to call it that. And that's where the money would go through because they created a new entity to create separation between the Qatari state and the Sheikh Jassim bid. That's why and they went with the 9-2 Foundation. We obviously know why we think they went with the 9-2 Foundation because of the class of 92, XYZ. Other reports at that time, I think, said the reason they called it 9-2 Foundation because that was the year that Sheikh Jassim became a fan. I think I remember that. But that's a long old time ago. That's like 7 months ago. I've got so much Sheikh Jassim and Jim Ratcliffe up in here. I don't know. My dreams and my nightmares must just be permanently about Manchester United takeover, as boring as that would be. But yeah, that's what this company is. And that's why it's kind of a significant moment. Because why would you do that if you're really not confident of going towards that final part of the process? Let me see if anything else has come out whilst we've been live and direct. Nothing as it stands. Right. I'm going to wrap this one up. I might be back here later on. That was amazing. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you very much, everybody, for dropping a like on the video, for sending in your comments. It's interactive, it's live, and it's the Manchester United takeover. It's one of the biggest bits of news in sports. It will be probably the biggest news in sports this year. It's one of the biggest moments in this club's history, and certainly its modern history as well. And let's see what goes on next. Thank you all for tuning in. I know it's a bit wild, a bit crazy, but when stuff breaks and I'm trying to multitask, you try it. Big up to everybody. And I tell you what, let's get this man on the bus.
We're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway.
You got to finish with Barry. Oh, look at that, man. David, you just gifted 10 memberships as well. What a community. It's almost like people are excited to see the back of the Glazers. I think we all really are. We don't know which way it's going, but the way it's really looking is it's going towards the Qataris as it stands. Much love, everybody.